Is there a habit that feels maybe a little more challenging in this season?
Yes, definitely. The one that comes to mind is I am working on the habit of making space for conversation. And I think about this a lot now because I wrote Habits of the Household in the thick of these little years, right? So I was thinking a lot about kind of stuff we just talked about, structuring moments of ordinary mess at bedtime into, well, how could we work a prayer in there that would change my reaction to it and invite them into spirituality? And a lot of that is quite structured, right? And it works so wonderfully for little children who really need and structure. And honestly, we need structure with them. And so that has been a lot of the journey. But now I've got a 13-year-old in the house and an 11-year-old. And the older that they're getting, the more I'm realizing that structuring the space rather than the content is becoming really helpful for us. So you guys are going to be great at talking back here because you're far more experts in all this than I am. For example, I tell my little children what to say in our back and forth prayers because they're practicing sort of a way of liturgy would be the fancy way to put it, but really just, teaching them, here's how you pray, here's how you talk to each other. But I'm learning with my oldest, for example, there's a level of conversation that I desire from him. And I think that he wants with me as a 13-year-old that doesn't really happen if I say, hey, tell me what's on your heart right now. It's like, well, it's family dinner and everybody else is listening, or even if it's in the evening, it's like, well, that was quite sudden and nobody knows how to transition to that. So I'm thinking a lot about structuring space, which looks like, for example, I suspected my 13-year-old had something he wanted to talk to me about the other week. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And I suspected it because I heard something from another parent at school that made me think, I bet he needs to talk to me about this, right? And so I was thinking, how do I not just come at him, but rather let him come to me? So one night I was like, hey, you want to stay up a little bit later and play the guitar together? He's trying to learn and I like to play a little bit.
Great.
And so we sat on the couches and he was picking and trading things. And then it's just sort of like, we're just doing things. Like there's a third thing there, right? And sure enough, about 20 minutes into this, he was like, hey, can I ask you a question?
Mm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this worked. It's not going to work every time, but it did work. We had a great conversation. And,
Aw.
that's a high point. There's other nights where we sit and, you know, can't get a word out of him. But I think structuring that space so that there's a time where he feels like he can come to me. And we really had a really wonderful conversation. But it wouldn't happen without the structured space. I can't make him say it anymore, but structuring the space I can do.